The peace of the Lord be with you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, for sharing in our experience. Our message comes out of Village United Methodist Church, and we do continue to pray that you are safe, that you are taking every precaution that you're able to take, caring for yourself, and you are loving your neighbor even as you love yourself. And we just want to lift up some announcements. Remember that there are several ways that you can keep supporting your local church. For us here at Village, we encourage you to utilize our online giving option. You can go to experiment.church/village, and that will take you to our portal, and you will just follow the prompts there and send through your gifts. We do appreciate that you are faithfully continuing to serve in this way. You could also mail your checks in to us. You can drop it off at the office, or you can ask us to do a slide by and pick up that gift for you as well. We do encourage that you stay inside as much as possible. Let us pray. Gracious God, it is in you that we put our trust. It is in your faithfulness that we rely. God, it is in your heart that we want to reside. Thank you. Thank you for the gift of your breath in our lungs. Thank you, God, for the gift of this new day, which brings with it its own sound and its own story that we are a part of. So, God, for every ear that is tuned in, for every heart that is open, we give you thanks. We're grateful for our support system, for our audience, God. We're just grateful for now. For now, oh God, we are grateful. So use this time, we pray, to encourage our hearts, to challenge us even, and to offer us hope. We pray in the name of Christ. Amen. So today we will hear a word coming out of the Gospel according to John chapter 9. And I'll read the first 7 verses, then go down to verse 13, and then to verse 35. The Gospel according to John chapter 9, starting at verse 1. As he walked along, he saw a man blind from birth. And his disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And Jesus answered, neither this man nor his parents sinned. He was born blind so that God's works might be revealed in him. We must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. Night is coming when no one can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. When he had said this, he spat on the ground and made mud with the saliva and spread the mud on the man's eyes, saying to him, go, wash in the pool of Siloam, which means a sent. Then he went and washed and came back able to see. Verse 13, they brought to the Pharisees the man who had formerly been blind. Now it was a Sabbath day when Jesus made the mud and opened his eyes. Then the Pharisees also began to ask him how he had received his sight. And he said to them, he put mud on my eyes, then I washed, and now I see. Some of the Pharisees said, this man is not from God, for he does not observe the Sabbath. Verse 35, and Jesus heard that they had driven him out. And when he found him, he said, do you believe in the Son of Man? And he answered, who is he, sir? Tell me so that I may believe in him. And Jesus said to him, "You have seen him, and the one speaking with you is he." He said, "Lord, I believe." And he worshipped him. And Jesus said, "I came into this world for judgment, so that those who do not see may see, and those who do see may become blind." Some of the Pharisees near him heard this and said to him, "Surely we are not blind, are we?" We've heard from John chapter 9. God opened our eyes that we might see. And again, Lord, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of all our hearts together be found pleasing in your sight. And as we attempt to get into your word, may your word get into us. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. So for the past many weeks, during the season of Lent, we have been having conversations around this word, Selah, this marking that appears 71 times in the Psalm, 3 times in the book of Habakkuk. And then we have discovered that the word means simply to take a break, really, to press pause, to rest, and to allow what was said, what was heard, to resonate in your heart. We learned that busyness does not necessarily equal holiness, and so it is good to take a break, because what you can't take a break from, you are a slave to. We've been having this conversation, and we'll continue to have this conversation. Today we will use this word in helping us to consider what is happening here in the Gospel according to John chapter 9. Now, I started wearing glasses when I was in high school, and it changed my life completely. And recently, my husband started to wear glasses. And so instead of his reading glasses, he's now wearing glasses for seeing. And I remember when he came home after collecting his glasses, and he was just gushing. He was like a sweet-toothed kid in a candy shop. He was just so excited. I can see, everything looks so clear, everything looks so sharp. I can read this, I can read that. And he just wouldn't stop going on and on about how wonderful it is that he's now able to see. His life has been changed. Yet with this good change that came in his life, also came the need to adapt. For he was not used to wearing glasses all the time, and so he had to adapt to this change. The man who was born blind also had a change in his life that he needed to adapt to. Whereas before he would see with his hands and with his ears, that's how he would determine what was around him. He's now able to see with his eyes, and things have begun to take shape. He can distinguish color and all of that. And it was something new and strange and exciting and even scary for him. He too had to learn to adapt to his new reality. He'll probably be able to identify with us today with the challenge of adapting to the change that has come upon us. For we are navigating this pandemic that comes with social distancing, with virtual meetings, with virtual worship services, systems overload, and these things are all brand new to us. It's strange for me to be standing here delivering a sermon to a camera, and I have to reorient myself to the truth that you are behind the camera, that you are there, and that God is here with me, and that God is there with you, and that we are all adapting to this new thing. Those who previously fought against the internet and social media and platforms and such as this, I am sure are now learning learning to appreciate the value of these gifts, these systems. We're learning to meet people where they are digitally. We're learning to engage life in a new way. We're learning to bravely chart these new and strange waters. We are learning to see things differently. Years ago, Roger Schultz, who is from the Methodist Church in South Africa, served in our conference for a brief period, and I recall him speaking at our clergy gathering for that year in my district, and he said something or reminded us of something that has stayed with me, that continues to resonate with me. Roger Schultz reminded us that if you change the point from which you view, you will find that your point of view changes. And many of you have often heard me say that perspective makes a world of difference. That when we give ourselves an opportunity to see things differently, we're better able to appreciate the gifts in others. The blind man here, as told in the Gospel according to John, had to live in a world that was new and strange to him. He did not understand it, and though he was grateful for it, although it made him nervous and even a little bit afraid, he had to adapt. The Pharisees, the people who knew it all, or so they thought, were after him to do him harm. And so with this gift came danger as well. He was judged for being born blind, and now that he could see, he's still being judged. It's just strange that sometimes the Pharisees cannot be appeased. This man was afraid, and in his fear, he raised a lament that I think the psalmist has echoed. Out of the depths I cry to you, O Lord. It's as if this man was saying, pay attention to my human condition. I'm in pain, I'm feeling nervousness, I'm feeling a sense of isolation on a different level, even as I've never felt it like this before. Hear me. Is there anybody out there? And I can imagine the fear that this guy felt. That his brother from day to day, having been able to now see and live in a new and exciting way, is also looking for places to hide. And there are people who are feeling a sense of isolation. Social distancing has brought with it many things. Different ways to engage, and yet there is isolation. And people are feeling the pinch and the crunch of that. People are feeling a sense of aloneness. People are feeling hurt because if they're sick, if they're feeling sick, nobody wants to be near them, and they necessarily must be treated with some sense of clinical distance. And so there is that, and each time we refer to the coronavirus as a Chinese virus. God's children are being isolated. Every time we attach that nationality to this dreaded disease, we are isolating people. And I want us to know that in the case of this blind man, in his season of isolation, Jesus went looking for him. Now that is some good news for me, that is some encouragement for me, that even in a season and a time and a place of isolation, that we are not alone because Christ comes looking for us. That the Pharisees determined that he had no worth, and Christ went looking for him. That people are looking at Chinese differently, but Christ comes looking for them. That Christ doesn't just look for me or look for you, Christ looks for all people. Yet the Pharisees are strange. They are the ones who read the scroll from tape to tape and figure that they know it all. They figure that they understand all that there is to understand about the scroll. The Pharisees killed me. Who sinned? The question in the room. Who sinned? The elephant that is sitting and sucking the breath out of everyone. Who sinned? He or his parents? Boy, I tell you. Man was born blind, but the question is, who sinned? Not we're glad for your deliverance, not that we're happy for your healing, not that we celebrate your life with you, but who sinned? As if this man's sickness, as if this man's blindness can be reduced to a simple question of who sinned. Sounds like the holy rollers and the question they are asking these days: who is God punishing with this disease? It certainly can't be the Jesus people, because this is a disease that has come to curse the wicked. And I'm saying, stop. Press pause on that kind of thinking, that kind of behavior. I believe that this season is calling us to decolonize our theology. I believe that this kind of theology distorts the message of Jesus, and the fact that Jesus comes looking for us, for everybody, for all people. You see, the truth is this pandemic is affecting everybody. It's affecting the wealthy and the poor. It's affecting whites. It's affecting straight people. It's affecting the educated. It's affecting everybody. So who sinned? Everybody. All of us. And so if this disease has come to curse anybody, may I suggest that it might have come also to curse all of us. For this is an equal opportunity mess, and we don't get away simply because we point blame in another direction. You see, there's a fact that we should hear again, that the worst thing that can happen to anybody can happen to anybody. Just ask me. It's affecting everybody, Tukumsa and Bagay, everybody. But what I'm telling us is that we need to get off of our self-righteous roller coasters and understand that faith does not vaccinate us against trouble. That faith is the vehicle that brings us through our trouble. That it comes on the other side of our pain. Yeah, the struggle is real. It's real for us. Because you know how we get it. We're rooted in our minds and hearts about some things, and we have no idea how limited we really are. That we too are blinded. Our certitude can prevent us from seeing things clearly. From seeing all the people. From seeing people for the gifts that they are. From seeing the way that God is at work in the human condition. We are blinded by our own prejudices. And I believe that Jesus has come looking for us to lead us away from that. Jesus has come looking for all of us. I believe that Lent, the season, that this pandemic, that Selah is time of just resting under the weight of God's authority. All calls for us to see things differently. To see that social distancing is not an excuse to mistreat one another, to stop caring for each other. Rather, it is an opportunity. It presents new ways for us to care for each other. And perhaps we're physically absent from each other, and we may be attracted to sitting with ourselves. And that's not such a bad thing. That we sit with ourselves and become self-aware. That we examine our behaviors and our words and our systems and see how these behaviors, how these words, how these systems have caused harm. And if you will, let the prophet Bob Marley help to put this in perspective. Bob Marley said, open your eyes, look within. Are you satisfied with the life you're living? I believe that we're being called to shift a little, shift from our places of knowing for sure that God is for us and us only, of knowing for sure that we have the answers, that we're being called to shift from where we are, to change the point from which we are viewing, so that we can discover the things that we're yet to know. Because if you change the point from which you view, it's true, you will find that your point of view changes. May that be so. May we see God at work in our lives even now, and may we hear God calling us, drawing us, and hugging us, and loving us, and making us new, to be new people to everyone else. See differently. That's a good call, I think. Change the point from which you view. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Let us pray. Good God, our challenge presses in on us. You know our frame, you know all that there is to know about us. You have that gift and you have that power. So God, with us in this moment, we ask as well, on behalf of those who are in the trenches, on behalf of every healthcare worker, the janitors, the first responders, the mail carriers, God, those whose work are now being seen as truly essential. The pastors, oh God, who are still being called to give care. God, we ask for your Spirit to hover over and above and to just undergird your people. That we feel ourselves led, Lord, to the other side of this struggle. Be thou our vision. And God, indeed we pray that we have eyes to see the gifts around us, to see the value in loving our neighbor as we love ourselves. see the value that is all around us. Gracious God, hear and cut off the cries of those who feel isolated, those who feel afraid, those whose uncertainty is now heavier than their hope, those for whom the struggle of trusting, of believing, of discovering, of knowing is so distant. Loving God, hear indeed our cry, and let them come to you, for our trust is in you, Holy One, larger than us, beyond our troubles. Our hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. Thank you, God, for the strength that we feel coming, and for the new sight that we are receiving. Christ our Lord. Amen.